All right, y'all. I got another one for you today. We're reacting to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar were recently at a abortion rally. I think in D.C. I believe, and now they got arrested at the protest, and I guess they're trying to get some cool points from their voter base by having themselves being on camera in handcuffs walking away, but now there's a possibility that that whole thing could have been staged. But let's hear more about this real quick. This is courtesy of Fox News Channel. Fair use.
Jonathan, former ICE director, former federal prosecutor. Jonathan, good morning. Network just left. What you make of this protest yesterday? 17 members of Congress were arrested. But the image that is most memorable, of course, is the one where AOC had her hands behind her back as if she were in handcuffs.
She's kind of smiling on her way there, like she's really doing something cool. I guess she's trying to be hip and cool to her voter base. Like, I remember that whole. I remember seeing that. So most of y'all may have saw this video where I think it was Alex Stein. He approached AOC walking up to like the Capitol building or something, and called her his favorite big booty Latina. And she then later on Twitter she claimed that she wanted to go over there and deck him. But like if you saw the video, she was all smiles and giggles and throwing up the peace sign. Like that could have been further from the truth. But let's see what this is all about.
Yeah, it's it's like one more political stunt after another. And, the AOC Houdini Act with the handcuffs to in so many ways, you think of.
I mean, she's just so happy. Like the fact that she got arrested. Like, come on. There's just no way why would you be happy about being arrested? Like, I don't get it.
Of our law enforcement out there, and particularly in Washington, D.C., where crime is going through the roof, and law enforcement also have to become props in a sea, basically being mocked. And it's really awful. It's like they can make their point on the abortion issue without getting arrested or doing other things and without taking up the time of law enforcement. And it really, the points you were making earlier, it really is distracting from the issues that really impact the American public much more greatly and much more immediately. And it just shows that these politicians are just, particularly AOC, is just fundamentally unserious. It really harkens back to when she was outside, pretending to cry about when they called them kids in cages a few years ago when Trump was president with the border issues. And again, I think the American people have much more serious things on their plate, and they wish the politicians would be paying attention to them.
Yeah. Absolutely. She's a performance artist. Next is coming into her dance.
Absolutely agree.
It's a legal protest show.
Yeah, we'll pause for a second. But I absolutely agree with what he just said. It's like, okay, you want to make your statement about the abortion thing. That's fine. No, there's no ill will towards that. But then you got to also address the other issues Americans are pissed off about, which is inflation, high gas, high food, which is hurting a lot of people's pockets. Yeah, you can do both. But they want to put more emphasis on this abortion thing, and that's not the top thing most Americans are mad about right now. It's like lower on the list of priorities. If you just look at the stats, more people are concerned about inflation, how the dollar is shrinking, literally shrinking, because you can only buy so much. You can't buy anything with just a dollar anyway. But the dollars in general are just getting them less and less and less every single day. And it's not getting any better. And it seems like they don't want to put any attention on this at all, which is why they're losing their voter base all the way to this day.
That the Democrats aren't willing to let something as silly as, quote unquote, the law shut them down when they're trying to prove a point along those lines. The left-wing group Shut Down D.C., who previously offered cash payments for tips on the location of Supreme Court justices, is now aiming to shut down this year's congressional baseball game. Here's what they tweet, Jonathan. disrupted Brett Kavanaugh's steak dinner, and we will disrupt the congressional baseball game. The monsters tearing apart our country deserve no peace. If hundreds of us turn out to the congressional baseball...
It's messed up that Twitter allows this on their platform. When anyone else try to do this, they will get shut down immediately and potentially prosecuted by the full extent of the law. But I guess, Twitter, they're with the shits. They're with the cause. So people like this, they'll be able to say all this nonsense on their platform with no problems whatsoever. But if you're a conservative, yeah, you gotta walk on eggshells, and that's not right at all. I don't care what anyone says, and it doesn't even matter what side you're on. Before this, but you want conservatives to walk on eggshells like you're part of the problem. That's just how I feel.
Baseball game this month and risk arrest. There's a real chance we could shut this whole thing down. Sign up to be there. Again, we probably should not expect tact and decorum from these people, but how low is it? Considering that just 5 years ago, Steve Scalise was almost killed preparing for this very baseball game.
Exactly right. It's really hard to believe. To say this is in bad taste is really just the understatement of the century. And we've talked about this before. This would be a really great opportunity for the president, the administration, members of the Democratic Party to say, hey, we need to stop, cool the temperature here, and to be a leader and to your point, respect the rule of law, respect our institutions, because there is value in these institutions. And if we say they're illegitimate every time we don't get our way, meaning their way, then they're never going to be considered legitimate. But they're essentially encouraging violence, or at least encouraging a situation where violence may occur.
And this is supposed to be the more peaceful party, the more accepting party. But if you're not aligned with what they believe, I'm talking about the left here, if you're not aligned with what they believe, they will use violence, they will use force to get their point across. They do not care about following any rules. They want people on the opposite side to follow all the rules, or they get to make up the rules that they go on the left. It's been like this for a very long time. All you have to do is pay attention.
And their ideas of protest are really intimidation, because what they're doing with the Supreme Court justices is so far out of bounds. And it's amazing that this administration has not even said anything to say, hey, there's something wrong with protesting in front of people's houses in their neighborhoods, and to try to disrupt events and to encourage people that may commit violence. And then at some point to take, if violence does occur, to sort of suggest they have nothing to do with it is really, it's really disgraceful. But there are so many opportunities for this administration to lead on this issue, to say we're above this and respect our institutions, and certain things are out of bounds and we'll condemn them, but they won't do that. And it just shows how, far to the left this administration has been taken, whether on their own or whether by the left of the party. And I don't think it really matters why they're doing it.
Yeah, and to be clear, this particular shutdown DC protest is over climate change. And they're angry at both Republicans and Democrats for not passing climate change legislation. But Todd just read the tweet. As a former member of DHS yourself, do you read those words as a violent threat, or is this more all talk, no action?
Well, if you say no peace, what is the opposite of peace is violence. So it certainly is on the line of encouraging violence. Is what they're saying illegal per se? No, but it does seem like what they're doing is saying not just protest, but to come and to make sure this is painful, uncomfortable, and again, if it's a situation where violence could occur, and again, leaders should step up and say something about this, but it certainly is on the line, and people should be aware of this, especially what's going on with the Supreme Court justices, with what happened with Brett Kavanaugh.
I mean, it's all about rules for thee and not for me. That's basically, that's what it's all about when it comes to dealing with the left, and what I've realized over the years, because they don't really want peace. They want to do what they want to do, no consequences, no repercussions, no nothing. They think they're entitled to just go terrorize who they want, harass who they want, but no one is allowed to do that to them. Nobody. And that's just not right. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. But anyways, that's all I got to say about this video. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.